Great, there's a growth area. By the way, if there is a club in the audience who is searching diligently for the next fundraising event, think burger off. Let's move on to the 18 to 30-year-old Rotaract. Not quite the growth area of Interact, unfortunately. We have 3 clubs only, and yes, I say only, in our district. We've certainly had more in the past. It's a delight to have with us the District 1110 Rotaract Chair. I was talking this morning to Lynette, and she said to me, it'll be different. Let's see. Let's welcome on the stage District Chairman Lynette Davis.
Good morning.
Good morning to RIBI President Jim, District Governor Ian, Chairman of Inner Wheel Anne, and the family of Rotary. Today I'd like to tell you why I joined Rotaract and what it's done for me, because it's played a part in bringing about an amazing change in my life. I first heard about Rotaract through a friend. All my friends were going off to uni, and due to my very low self-esteem, high anxiety and lack of confidence, I didn't go. I felt quite lost, wanting to meet new people, but not knowing how. When my friend told me about Rotaract, I looked it up, thought it looked good, but did nothing for a few months. The prospect of meeting new people was far more scary than exciting at the time, despite the fact that I wanted to make new friends. I also really wanted to get involved with the charity side of Rotaract. I saw on the website the sort of things they did, but because of my low self-esteem, I couldn't imagine myself doing it. How could someone like me get involved with events? I'd surely do it all wrong and look stupid. After a few more months, I finally got in touch with Bournemouth Rotaract, but again, became too scared of meeting people I didn't know. People who I felt most likely wouldn't like me, because I'd always found it hard to make friends because of the negative opinion I had of myself. Eventually I did join, but I didn't really play much of a part at the beginning. It takes a while for someone without much confidence to really feel they fit in, but after a long time, I felt comfortable. My first role in the club was as secretary, and this gave me more confidence as people would tell me how good my minutes were. It also meant I was first point of contact for potential new members, and this gave me the chance to give them information and make them feel comfortable about coming along. I began to find it easier to talk to new people, as I'd already had some contact with them beforehand, and I always tried my best to befriend new members. My confidence kept growing over time as I got more involved and took part in different events, which meant I had to talk to people and not be shy. The Elderly People's Christmas Meal was one event that really helped me. I have a great passion for helping the elderly, and to be involved in this event meant talking to the elderly people on my table. I enjoyed finding out about them and hearing their stories, and was able to have really good conversations with them without feeling self-conscious. The event was to give isolated elderly people a chance to get out and enjoy a meal with entertainment, and also to see that, despite what the media makes out, not all young people are trouble. It was a great success, and the elderly people thoroughly enjoyed themselves, especially when one of our members, who was just as Father Christmas, walked out and found that his trousers were around his ankles. So as well as the great time the elderly people had, I was able to take a lot away from this event and grow in confidence some more. This year I'm in charge of organising the Elderly People's Christmas Meal, and I'm very much looking forward to it. It also ended up being part of my job to care for elderly people, and the confidence that I was getting from Rotaract meant I was doing better in my job, as when I first started I was not very good at communicating with the people I worked with. After a few years I was made president of Bournemouth Rotaract, despite protesting at the time that I was not the person for the job. This meant that I was now running and planning meetings, having to talk in front of the whole group, be in charge of organising events, and having to handle any problems that might arise. I soon got into the role, realising as my confidence continued to grow that I could do these things, and that people thought I was a good president. I was contact for people from different groups who wanted our help. I'm very confident in talking to them by now, which at one point I would have found difficult. One contact we made that we have helped for the last few years is a local fire station. We help out at their Christmas fairs, summer open days, and sometimes car washes. Events like this helped my confidence, as working at the bouncy castle with lots of small children running around trying to get on is pretty stressful. But after a while, you get used to how to deal with them, get them to listen so they queue up in an orderly fashion, rather than all charging for the castle. At Bournemouth Rotary, we get involved with a lot of different events, whether it be helping with other people's or planning our own. We put on a record-breaking kite flying event a few years ago for the Rotary conference, which was being held in the Vic at the time in Bournemouth. The idea was to break the record for the most amount of kites in the air at one time, and we managed it despite the fact that there was no wind. I found myself running up and down Bournemouth seafront with a megaphone, calling people to join in, something that was rather hard to do as it's pretty embarrassing, especially when someone shouted at me to shut up. But I carried on undeterred, something I wouldn't have done a few years before. Different events help put you in different situations, which can help in other areas. For example, knocking on doors with Poole Bay Rotary to help them with their Christmas collections taught me not to take things personally, as a small minority of people wouldn't be very friendly. At first I found this difficult as it knocked my confidence, but I soon realised that it was nothing to do with me personally, and it helped me to deal with difficult people. It was actually quite funny when you see someone dash behind the curtain and hide under the sofa and shout they weren't in, or to get out giving a few pennies to charity. An event which is always fun to be part of is the annual Back to Front meal. This is probably the silliest event we do all year, starting with coffee, going on to dessert, then the main course and finishing with the starter. Everything is back to front. We say goodbye at the start and hello at the end, and people come in all sorts of funny back to front costumes. Money raised goes to the chosen charity for that night. For the first few years of my time in Rotary, I avoided this event. One time I was meant to go, but I backed out at the last minute because I just didn't have enough confidence. However, the last few years I've been very much involved, helping to organise last year's event and really getting into the dressing up. A group of us girls dressed up as grannies and granddads last year, whilst the men dressed up, rather disturbingly, as women. I'm glad I'm now able to join in with this event, as it's always a very funny evening and raises a good amount of money for charity. One of my favourite things that we do in Rotary is the community work. I organised for us to paint benches at a care home that I was working at a few years ago, and they were extremely grateful for all the work we did. For the last few years, we've helped to do an evening of gardening for local charity, the Youth Cancer Trust. They have a house in Allen Chine with an amazing garden, and it is a pleasure to help out there. The Youth Cancer Trust provides holidays for young people with cancer. I rang up this year to organise with Brenda, the founder, for us to come round one evening and do some gardening. We didn't know what we were letting ourselves in for. We ended up being given so many jobs to do, including to paint their shed, that we were there 7 times in total, and Brenda joked that she would like to kidnap us, chain us up, and have us doing jobs all the time. We made a quick getaway the last time we were there, but promised to come back next year. It's things like that which I love to do in Rotary, as it makes such a difference to people, and they really appreciate the work that we do. The social side of Rotary is brilliant as well. I took it upon myself to be the organiser of social events, and I've made some really good friends through Rotary. We do all sorts, including bowling, games nights, laser quest, beach socials, ski bombing, and had a weekend away camping in the summer, which was great fun. The social side of Rotary has really made me feel accepted, and now that I have so much more confidence, I can talk to anybody and I'm not afraid to try new things. I'm always aware of making sure everyone feels included too, as I understand what it's like to feel on the edge of things, especially for people who are quieter, as I was once like that. As well as what it's done for me, Rotary has had a great impact on my sister. I brought her along to a meeting when she was going through a very hard time. She was the same as me, very shy, no confidence, and had other problems, which made it even harder for her. However, within 8 months of joining the club, she has single-handedly organised our biggest fundraising event ever, a sponsored Walk with a Difference, the Enneathon, which was organised this May to coincide with the Rotary conference in the Vic, raising £5,000 for local children's hospice Julia's House. The idea of the event was to travel from set starting points, or wherever people might choose to start from, and all end up in the same place, at our end point at Bournemouth Pier. People were asked to donate a minimum of £5 for a green t-shirt to wear during their travel to the endpoint. And were encouraged to not just walk, but skate, run, cycle, or come by whatever means they could think of. Amy and I both spent the day at the Enneathon going around the conference hall, asking Rotarians to donate money, something we had been very worried about, as it meant talking to a lot of people we didn't know, but that we did with ease. We got roped in to do a 10k run too, with Rotarians sponsoring us and being very generous when they heard that we were doing it on empty stomachs, because we had been so busy all day that we hadn't had time to eat. After seeing how well she did in this event, Amy was voted in as president and is now running the club. She is in charge of organising next year's Enneathon, which is now going to be an annual event. Her confidence has really had a great boost from what she's done at Rotaract, and she is continuing to develop personally and learn different skills through being involved in Rotaract. This year I was made district chairman, again protesting that I was not the person for the job. When I joined Rotaract 6 years ago, I wouldn't have imagined that I'd be here today speaking in front of so many people. The only practice I've had for this was when I got baptised a month ago and gave my testimony in front of 30 people on the beach. So with the help of Rotaract, I've achieved a lot of things, learned a lot of new skills from situations I've been involved in, and grown in confidence. I really tried to get out of this, as I felt I wouldn't be able to do it. Not just the speaking, but also this conference had made me go on a plane for the first time ever, something that I've always been terrified of doing. This is why I wanted to show you what Rotaract has done for me, because it's really played an important part in making me the person I am today. And I'm proud to be part of it and hope that it will do the same for a lot of other people. So thank you to Rotary for creating Rotaract. Long may it continue to have your support.